Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us remotely for this Facebook Live event, Wellness Wednesdays with the Vegan Cosmetics Store. Today, we have some great guest speakers that are going to be discussing several different ways of caring for you and your family during this time of pandemic and natural disasters. So I'm going to start off by making some quick introductions. We have Carlene, the owner behind the Vigo Glam brand and the Vegan Cosmetics Store here with us today. Hi, Carlene.
Hi, Diana. Thank you for your introduction. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you're joining us live on Facebook, welcome, welcome. We're excited to have you here with us for this Wellness Wednesday. Now, the Vegan Cosmetics Store was developed, we have developed Wellness Wednesday as a part of our mission to promote all-round health and wellness. We care about individuals, not just about your skin, but about your overall well-being. And so a part of our mission is to promote and to join with others who have that common mission of promoting health and well-being. So today we will be talking generally about how to take care of yourself in this time of COVID-19, the natural disasters that are coming up. I know we're streaming live, so there are some places that are affected by hurricanes and storms right now. So we just wanted to share a little bit of how to take care of yourself in this period of time. I also have an exciting product that I'd like to share with you. It's called MEDiSTiCK. And MEDiSTiCK is a personalized disinfectant stick, which is good for everyday use, everyday life. Now with all these germs, bacteria, and viruses floating around, this MEDiSTiCK is perfect solution to keep you safe from this virus. So I will be talking a little bit more about this MEDiSTiCK Plus in a little bit, but just to put a plug in that we're going to be sharing some useful information to help you to keep safe now and beyond this pandemic. Thank you, Dana. Back to you.
Thank you, Carlene. Next, we have Dr. Facey, who is a professor in the religion department at Broward College. Hello, Dr. Facey.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's such a joy being with you this evening. Of course, I know we've been kind of locked up in many ways with this pandemic, and it is creating a lot of stresses for our minds, and our spirits are becoming enclosed. And so I really look forward to sharing with you some strategies that can help you lift your spirits and also help you deal with the psychological side of the stresses that we face. Because incidentally, some of the studies that are coming out right now, they're showing that, there is a heightened level of depression, suicide is increased, people are having all kind of mental issues because of the impact of the pandemic. So it's very, very important then for us to think about our minds and our spirits. I want to share some things with you in a bit. So thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you, Dr. Facey. And next we have Ivan and Steven Brauner from TSSA Storm Safe, Damage Assessment Consultants. Thank you, Ivan and Steven, for joining us.
Thank you, Diana. Hi, everybody. I'm Steven Brauner from TSSA Storm Safe, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today to add to the great knowledge that Dr. Facey was sharing with us. People are also dealing with natural disasters and the concern about their property and being safe. So I'm looking forward to sharing some tips, some ideas, and some ways to keep your property safe and keep you aware and safe during these natural disasters or any storm that affects near your area that you live in. Hi, everybody. My name is Ivan Brauner. I'm also one of the owners of TSSA Storm Safe, and if you think you're seeing double, you're not, because we're twins. And so it's like, double the fun. But TSSA Storm Safe, we are first responders. We are called upon to go into disaster areas. We've worked in many storm environments, from Katrina to Hurricane Ike in Texas, Hurricane Wilma. We're mobilizing in Louisiana for a lot of the people that have been displaced during this time. So we really understand what happens in an environment like this when people are forced in and outside of their course of living. And because of that, we want to share with you some tips and some thoughts of how to get through a time of trouble, a time of disaster, because that's really what we do, is we help people through that. So we're looking forward to sharing with you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Ivan. So we are going to start off with Carlene, who's going to tell us more about MEDiSTiCK Plus and how it's a very useful disinfectant device during these challenging times.
Hi again, everybody. I'm so excited about this MEDiSTiCK. This MEDiSTiCK Plus is a game changer. It's a personalized disinfectant, as Diana said. This can be used in your homes, in your restaurants, places of businesses, offices. And the great thing about it is portable. So you can slip this in your handbag and take it with you wherever you're going to protect yourself. MEDiSTiCK is a chlorine, it's a kit that produces chlorine dioxide. And this helps to protect you from floating viruses in the environment. So I'm just going to show you a little bit how it works. This is a MEDiSTiCK. It has chemicals in both sections here. You shake it twice, tap, tap, click it. The stick is activated. The chemicals will mix. You shake it until it's activated. It will change color. It will become yellow. When it is yellow, it will start emitting chlorine dioxide in the environment. Now this stick, it looks very small, but this is very powerful. It will keep you safe for up to 4 to 6 weeks. The chlorine dioxide that it emits, it is effective at killing 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. So it is giving you enough of the product not to kill anyone, but to kill the viruses and bacteria. So it is a safe product. You don't have to worry about that. It is eco-friendly. It is odorless. And one great thing about this product is that if you're having, there are many uses for it, apart from killing viruses and bacteria. So if you have like a stinky room, like a stinky shoes closet or something like that, you pop a MEDiSTiCK there and that will help you with the odor. If you're traveling and you have a hotel room that is kind of musty, this is a perfect solution. You pop it in there and within a few hours, it will clean the environment. So you want to check this out at MEDiSTiCKusa.com and you'll learn a little bit more about the science and everything about MEDiSTiCK. So I'd like you to check on that MEDiSTiCK. It comes in a box like this. And for under $1 per day, you can have your own personalized disinfectant. Thank you, Dinah. And I'll be open for questions if anyone has any questions on the product, but I think you'll hear a little bit more about MEDiSTiCK in a little while.
Wow, that's an amazing product. Steven and Ivan, can you tell us more about MEDiSTiCK Plus and how you use it in your line of work, and also other ways we can secure our property during these times of natural disaster?
Sure. I'd love to share some thoughts with the viewers. You know, right now we're in a very active hurricane season. There are meteorological conditions that are ripe for the production of storms. As you can see, if you look at the Atlantic basin, there's many storms, actually more than people have expected to see at one time. The area of Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana, and Spring, Texas just had a very significant landfall from Hurricane Laura. There was what's called a derecho, a straight line wind event that hit through the Ohio River Valley, which is a very different type of natural weather phenomenon that creates a lot of damage. So what we like to do, of course, there's the common sense things. You know, you have to listen to what the weather meteorologists are saying. You have to listen to and log on to NOAA. and what they're saying to what areas to watch out for. Clearly, when a storm's approaching and you're in what's called that cone of uncertainty, let's make sure we remove anything that can become projectiles. That's very common sense. Let's make sure that your windows or the openings to your house are protected with an appropriate storm covering, whether it's an accordion shutter, aluminum panel shutters, impact windows. There's many different quality building products and upgrades you could do to your home. And at the very least, you can board up with plywood. Again, different levels of protection, but what you're doing is you're protecting against debris breaking the window. And when debris breaks the window, that leads to all kinds of different issues that the building is going to suffer. The wind forces, the pressurization, the atmosphere, the interference of the outside elements now getting to the inside of the living space. You know, a couple of other things to do before a storm hits. Very important. Make sure you know where all your insurance documents are. Make sure you know where your homeowner's insurance, if you have a contents policy, if you have a flood policy through FEMA, if you have items of value in your house. Before the storm hits, everyone's got a camera, everyone's got a phone, everyone's phone is a camera. Go through your house one room at a time with a date stamp. The meta tag on your picture shows the date stamp, and take a picture slowly and carefully. Document the condition of your house inside and out. Okay. If you have artwork, if you have rugs, if you have anything of value, if you have computers, if you have a home office, appliances, you name it. Water and damage from hurricanes cause a lot of damage and destruction to materials that are inside your home. So when you take those pictures, you really are documenting what we call pre-loss condition. Okay, that's very important. Then, God forbid, you are acted on by a hurricane or some natural event, that you do get some damage. And I'm hoping that not many of you out there have to ever live through this. We're from South Florida. I've lived through Andrew. I've lived through Hurricane Wilma. We've lived through so many storms and seen devastation, and also seen people gather together and rebuild stronger. But when you have that documentation of the contents of your home, then a storm hits. Now you have something to show the insurance company. Say, hey, you know what? Here we are looking at my master bedroom, and you can see my big screen TV, and you can see my beautiful antique armoire where my clothes are, or some valuable lamps or rugs or whatever. Here's my before pictures with the date stamp. Here's my after picture showing the window broken out, showing the wall got damaged, showing water on the wall and mold or mildew forming, showing whatever the condition is. Something else to keep in mind as well while I'm on this rant, go outside and take a picture of your car, because your car is insured as well. You know what happens in Florida? The palm trees go and they knock your car out. Okay, they break the windows. That's also insurable, and you can show before and after. Hey, my car was safe in the driveway, locked down, all the windows are good. Mysteriously, now I have no glass in my car. Okay, and what happened? A hurricane happened. You know, I'm all joking aside. Make sure you have the documentation of pre-loss condition of your home, of your contents, and then you can justify that with the after loss condition. It's going to help you with your discussions with the insurance company. And by the way, the pictures that you take, do an outside walk around as well. Take a picture of your roof, the soffits. Really take your time, because truthfully, chances are, if you are in a hurricane, we're going to be sitting in the house for a couple of days anyways. Not unlike our COVID situation, where people, you'll be glad you spent the time to go outside and document these things correctly. These are just very common sense, but we are expert witnesses in federal court, where we help homeowners get their property put back into pre-loss condition and get on with their lives. And I can tell you, this type of documentation certainly makes it easier for the insurance company to pay you what they need to pay you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the chance to share that with you.
And also, I want to add one thing to that, if I can.
as the first part of any recovery situation when you go into a storm zone that was damaged is, first of all, safety of individuals, safety of life, making sure the structures are sound. And on our company, we're a forensic inspection company. We do engineering inspections of structures. We make sure that they're safe. We work with a whole bunch of professionals. And the first and foremost thing that we need is, number one, the safety of the people we're looking after and the safety of our teams. When you go into a toxic environment and after the walls have been waterlogged and they suck up water and the temperature raises and there's a lot of humidity, you're going to start creating mold, you're going to start creating mildew, and it's very dangerous. One thing we've done for our safety protocol is we reached out to the guys at MEDiSTiCK, and all of our teams are protecting themselves with the product that Carleen has shown you. I'll tell you a couple things about it, is that we put it in our inspection vest and we make sure that it's activated because when you're going into the environment, it emits like chlorine dioxide gas. And we've done some tests on this. We've done some studies on this. The actual chemicals inside the MEDiSTiCK are not chemicals. They're citric acid, which is an acidic base. There's water, which is the largest part of the ingredient. And then there's literally a salt content in there that when Carleen break the stick, they mix together these natural environments, these natural products, and they create a chemical reaction which emits chlorine dioxide gas, which, let me tell you something about chlorine dioxide. It's what they use to purify drinking water. So you're walking around with something that's non-toxic. You're walking around with something that is not harmful. And also the range of the admittance of the MEDiSTiCK is also below a level that could be considered harmful. So that's why we feel comfortable when our team brings the MEDiSTiCK into the home, into the building. A lot of the times we work with storm restoration companies. We've also helped them to get in touch with the people at MEDiSTiCK. When after they clean a home, they come in with their blowers, they try to dry everything out, they get the water out. Then what they do is they leave MEDiSTICKs in each of the rooms. And again, they make sure they calculate the distance of each MEDiSTiCK so they don't oversaturate in the room, which is important. But that MEDiSTiCK will then be a powerful tool to help fight the recurrence of the odor of mildew, the odor of a damp house. And also, if there are any viruses or any germs that are in there, they help to purify the air, which is a powerful part of an after storm remediation protocol. So again, I know we're talking about a lot of different things, but it's a simple tool that our teams have found very effective. And we've done a lot of research on this. It's been tested in Asia. They've used it in a lot of different environments. And so we're implementing it, and it's been working very well. So we're pleased to talk more about that. Another thing, to go back to protecting yourself from a storm, most important thing, and you hear people say this all the time, is common sense. And that old adage, common sense is not so common. Well, we need to exercise common sense. Don't be a hero. If NOAA says it's time to evacuate, evacuate. Go to a shelter. Get out of harm's way. You can come back to your property after the fact. But there are shelters that are in place that are strong. They're engineered to withstand a lot more force than a lot of the structures that people are living in. So if you're in the direct line of impact of a Category 4 storm, which is what just happened in Louisiana, don't be a hero. You need to be safe. You need to take your family, take what you can, go to the shelter. Because we've learned from Katrina, we've learned, and we saw what happened when people said, no, I'm going to ride it out. It's going to be okay. Really? Well, a lot of people got seriously injured and God forbid, a lot of death, which is terrible. So we always want people to be safe. And the first line of defense is to protect the people and use common sense. After that, companies like TSSA Storm Safe, our company, and other experts will come in. We will make sure the properties are safe. Our specialty is glass and glazings. We make sure the windows are safe, and we make sure the structure is inhabitable. And then you go back and we rebuild. But most importantly, you're going to be in a precarious situation. Protect yourself. MEDiSTiCK is a way to protect yourself. Again, in a storm environment, we use it, but also with the pandemic. And again, I'm stepping out of my wheelhouse because I'm not a virologist, but it is very effective. Chlorine dioxide has been shown to kill, to help clean the air of bacteria and viruses. Again, the science is very sound. Another thing, this is not an ingestible product. It is not a product that you're going to take under your skin or ingest. It is a product that helps purify the surrounding space that you're occupying. And to us, it's been very helpful. We've literally went into houses that have had intense smell of mold, intense smell of mildew. Within a few days, it's a completely different environment once the MEDiSTiCK has been put into its proper place and been used according to direction.
Sure.
And it has then turned around and help people to get back in their homes, help people to get back and start remediating their property.
Right. We kind of figured that, the MEDiSTiCK, when used properly and at full emittance, will protect an area that's like 12 foot by 12 foot. That's a good rough estimate. But when you put them strategically and correctly in the space, what they do is pretty impressive. It's actually made our job a lot easier and a lot safer, and it's been able to make us more effective in the field because our people can stay in the properties longer because we're not breathing in mildew and moldy smells and things like that, and that's very uncomfortable to be in. So
a lot of times, if we're going to go into a storm environment, the right protocol to follow would be to make sure the MEDiSTiCKs have been in place for a few days before the engineering staff or the first responders get into that property, because it does help. Also, something else to consider: use common sense, like we always say. Even with this, okay, this is not a situation where if one MEDiSTiCK works, 20 MEDiSTiCKs will work faster. It's not important. That's not how this works. Follow directions. Make sure that you understand the right placement of it. And again, the people at MEDiSTiCK, they can help with the calculation to figure out how to fill a home properly. It's good because you're in certain other environments. When we went into storm situations before, we didn't have this tool. And I can tell you first experience, my brother Steven has some damage to his lungs from Katrina, from breathing in spores that he didn't know he was breathing in.
Yeah, I got into the hospital with black mold toxicity from being in an area that was deemed to be safe, that a contractor had opened a wall that should have been closed off, and I was in the room at the time. I'm convinced if we had MEDiSTiCK and it was in that space and operating with its true admittance, that would not have happened to me.
Yeah, it's true. And so again, we think it's a good tool in our toolbox. And when we were asked to talk about helping people be safe, we thought it was necessary to add this to our conversation. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Ivan and Steven, for sharing that. It just sounds like such a great product, especially during this time right now where we need disinfectants. Steven, where would you guys order MEDiSTiCK from?
Oh, we did what anybody would do. We went looking for it. We found it on the internet. We went to MEDiSTiCKUSA.com, and we researched. We made a order for our company, a bulk order, so we make sure we have enough in inventory for deployment. We're talking about a bad worst case scenario in a hurricane, but this is something that every home I think would benefit from to get an increased, better air quality. So go to MEDiSTiCKUSA.com. The science is there. Great testimonials are there. Check it out. It might be something that, and also on a personal note, you mentioned the stinky shoes. Yeah, it works for that too. So just,
Okay, thank you, Steven. So next we're going to go back to Dr. Facey, who's going to share some insights with us about how to take care of ourselves during these difficult and challenging times.
Interestingly, as you were talking about MEDiSTiCK and the value of it and the effectiveness of that, as Diana said earlier, I'm a professor. I teach at Broward College. This is something that actually would be good for schools as well, obviously, because one of the concerns that we have is how, as teachers, we stay safe, and especially now with the mandate that all schools will have to open physically by October 8th, I think it is. And so that's like a mandate coming down. So might be something good. And one of the other things I do as well, I'm a pastor. So, a lot of churches right now are running online, and some are trying to get back into a physical space. These are places where people congregate in spite of social distancing and so forth. So that might be something helpful for that as well. But anyway, much like I said earlier, that the pandemic and the effects that it is having on people is incredible. One of the theories that psychologists speak about is the self-determination theory. And according to this theory, there are three essential needs that human beings have if they're going to able to not just survive, but thrive, if they're going to do well. And the first one is the need for a sense of autonomy. That is to have some sense of being in control, have agency over your life and over the environment in which you find yourself. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, because a lot of us were locked up in homes and we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that, that sense of autonomy was really challenged. And so that begins to feel debilitating. The next need is a sense of relatedness. And this has to do with being connected to people. One thing that we do know is that we're social animals. We're created for relationships. And when we're not relating to people, we feel isolated and we can get depressed and withdrawn. And this can begin to become, psychologically, toxic, if you will, for us. And so we want to know that we're loved. And we also want to know that we're showing love. And we want to know that we're talking to people and people are talking back to us. And that sense of relatedness is essential to our well-being. And then the third one that they talk about is a sense of competence, knowing that we are doing something that we're good at. This is our, if you will, our sweet spot, and we're doing it, and it is giving us value and self-esteem and a sense of worth, and that we're achieving some things. Well, here's the problem. In this pandemic, all three of those are challenged because we're locked up at home. Many of us are working from our computers. And we just don't feel like we're adding the kind of value and using the unique skill sets that we have as much as we would normally do. And so these kind of things then, will allow us to begin to feel disconnected, allow us to feel depressed, allow us to lose a sense of hope. You see, there have been a lot of studies that have been done on these things, and they show that when these three needs are met, people thrive. It is predictable. And so in this crisis, many of us have been deprived of all of that. And so the question then is, how do we deal with this? So I want to give you, and I can't go into all of these in any depth for sure, because time will not permit, but I want to give you some cliff notes on what you can hang your hat on. So if you're being impacted more than anything else by these things, here are some practical things that you can do. The first one I would suggest is to focus on what you can control. This is very important. What you can control. What you can control, you can direct. What you can direct, you can excel in. And the things you can't control, you have to find a way to let go of. So for instance, we had no control over the mandates that came down from governments about social distancing and all these kind of things. And so if we're going to allow our minds to become so preoccupied with the limitations of that, then this is going to be deafening. It is going to be like our death knell. So you focus on what you can control. Well, in your home environment, clearly you have some control there, what you can do there. so you focus on that. And what you can't control, you try to let go of. Because if you don't let go of them, then you're going to be fighting with them. And that is going to be taking away unnecessary energy that you need to bring you through the challenges of the pandemic. The second one is to make a commitment to build deeper relationships with your family and friends. If there's anything this pandemic has done, it has forced us into our homes much more extended times with our wives or husbands or loved ones or children. Unfortunately, sometimes, and this is also happening, that because of the fact that we're forced into this environment, if we weren't relating good before, then these can begin to cause some problems and we're rubbing each other the wrong way. But by and large, what will happen if we make a concerted commitment to deepen the relationships that we have with those around us in this time? That's an incredible opportunity. And we can grow to a higher level of intimacy, learning to listen to each other better, learning to talk to each other better, learning to feel each other better, because it is not just simply about verbal talking. It's also about the non-verbal kind of talking that we do, where we're able to feel our hearts connecting with each other. So make that commitment to do that. Now, the truth is, as much as we have been social distancing and we can't go out into crowds and we can't party and so forth, the phone still works, text still work, email still work, platforms like Zoom, like what we're using here right now, they still work. So make use of those. Connect with friends, connect with associates, so you can have this kind of conversation that is going. Use technology then to move you forward in this relational space, because that's a need that we have, the need for relationship relatedness. Now, here's another. Know that your state of mind feeds your emotions. Sometimes we tend to think that it's our emotions that feed our minds. If we can get control over how we think and what we think about, then our emotions will often operate according to that trajectory. So you need to find the things then that give you power. And all of us have a power source. You know, there are certain things that we do that give us energy. And there are certain things that we do that take away energy from us. So in a time like this, you want to try to stay away from the things that deplete your energy. I know for myself, one of the things that gives me energy is just exercise. So every day I go out there and I run like 6.5 miles and all this kind of stuff, because it gives me energy. The quietness of the morning, the beautiful sunrise coming up, the cool breeze that is coming through, the birds that are chirping in the air, and all these kind of things, they give me that sense of refreshing. And so I know if I don't do that, I lose energy. So find the things that gives you energy, and the things that give you energy, focus on that, because that's going to be your source. For some people, it might be reading, it might be conversations. If you're a relational kind of person, outgoing, gregarious, sanguine, we call that. Or if it is finding a quiet place where you can meditate and just begin to think through and process and reflect, you know, if those are the things that give you energy, build on those things. Don't allow those things to slip away, because that will allow you to have a sense of stability psychologically. And I'll share just a couple more. We always want to achieve something. Much like I've said, the whole idea of competence is an essential part of our human nature. So set some goals. They might not be the big, grandiose goals that we could set when we're out there, but set some small goals. And when you achieve them, celebrate. Have a party. Okay, because you just did something that was great, because this is going to give you that sense of accomplishment, and it will feed into that air of competence. So that's important. And stay connected, like we said, with, you know, all of us have a source from which we live. You know, I told her that I'm a pastor, and so when I think about that source, I think of God. I think about spirituality. For you, you might think about something else, you know, whatever that sense of God looks like to you, whatever that sense of spirituality looks like for you. But connect into that. Stay connected to that, because that will allow you to draw energy. So Everybody has a center from which to live, from which you live. And what I can tell you in this time when we have so much more time to reflect and to think, it's a good time for us to begin to think about what is really my center? What is at my core? What is my key motivation? Why am I here? You know, how can I make my, how can I add significance, if you will, to those around me? That sense of purpose. We want to know that. So I would say take the time necessary, connect with your source, because that is essential. And then finally, find ways of practicing what you're good at. What are you good at? Maybe this is a good time for you to think about that, because too many of us are just generalists, just running around doing all these different things that people tell us that we're good at. But what are you really good at? This is a good time for you to focus on that and think through that. And once you know what that is, then the things you're not good at, it's a good idea to move away from them, because we become great by practicing what we're good at. Too many people always want to improve their weaknesses. That is a fallacy. Focus on your strength. The weaknesses will take care of themselves. It is your strength that will make you great. So if I hope these ideas that I've shared with you this evening, you'll find helpful. There are many other things that I could say, but of course I don't have all the time in the world. So these are just a few things that I pass on. So thank you so much, Dan, and thank you, panel. What a great conversation this has been, and I love to hear about MEDiSTiCK. And I hope as you are listening as well, you might find that valuable. And like we said, we just kind of listed a few spaces and places that this can be used in, but boy, it is an everyday use. So, if you need to get it. Use it in your car, wherever you want to use it, because you can carry it wherever. I'm going to look at it for churches since I'm a pastor, and I'm going to look at it also for the classroom since that's the space that I have to be in as well. So thanks so much, team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Facey. Thank you for sharing with us about how we can stay connected and feel connected to those that we care about, and also, how we can capitalize on our strengths and the things that we're good at. Also, thank you to Ivan and Steven for sharing with us some great ways to keep ourselves, our families, and our homes protected during these challenging times. Thank you to everyone on the panel, as well as our viewers. You can submit any questions that you might have in the comments. And also for more on our online events, you can go to vigoglam.com as well. And for purchasing of the MEDiSTiCK Plus, you can go to medistickusa.com. So thank you and good night.
Yeah, that was great. We were just hanging around to see if there are any questions for the panel. So if you have questions right now, just feel free to go ahead and type them in that comment there, and then we'll get back to you with your answers. So we're just going to give the panel a few minutes, but this was such a great discussion. Thank you so much for your time. And this was food for thought. At the vegan store, we're not like we said, we're not just taking care of your skincare, but we're taking care of your total body. We're trying to join with people to bring you resources to take care of the whole body, your mind, your spirit, and your face and skin, of course, because that's a part of what we do at VigoGlam. We have awesome skincare products and makeup, some of the cleanest products you will find on the market. So go ahead and visit vigoglam.com and peruse or lovely products that we have out there. So at this time, we're just waiting to see if there are a few more comments or questions for the panel. If not, then we're going to be saying good night. And thank you, gentlemen, and Diana, for being here with us tonight. Do we have any questions coming up? Any questions?
I think we have one question here from Amber. How big of an area does the MEDiSTiCK Plus portable disinfectant protect?
Who wants to take that?
Steven, do you want to answer that for me?
Yeah, I think The way we use it, and I think it's exactly what the instructions say, a 12-foot by 12-foot room. So basically an average sized bedroom. If you think about that in your mind, I like to think of that as a space that we are comfortable deploying one MEDiSTiCK, and at full emittance, it handles, it'll purify the air in that space.
And I just want to mention again, it's a very simple product. I've had people asking if it's a spray. It's not a spray. It's a portable kit, and you just need to set it in the room and forget it. There's no need for spraying or anything. It's very simple, but effective. Do we have any other questions for the panel? All right, if we have no further questions, thank you very much again for joining us. And this was a very great discussion. And have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.